Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of Book Review Thursdays, where I review books that I have read. So it's finally come time for me to go ahead and do a complete review of Final Girls by Riley Sager. Interesting though, I just learned that Riley Sager is not the author's real name, it's a pseudonym. No one knows what the author's name is. All we know is that they are from Pennsylvania, that they have written other books, and that's about it. I was convinced up to this point that the author was a woman. I'm unsure of that now because I realized that the thumbnail that they have on Twitter is just some random, I don't know if it's like an image from a book or from a movie, but it's of like a girl with a knife. Probably not the author. It's cool because someone on Twitter actually wrote, asking, does anyone have any idea who Riley Sager is? And Riley Sager themselves answered, and it was something like, I'm really not all that special. I'm kind of boring. But it's not the point. We still want to know who you are. Especially, to meet you so you could sign our books if that's ever the case. If you saw my preview review video for Final Girls, I went ahead and defined what a final girl is. Now, if you haven't seen that video, it's fine. I have absolutely zero problems repeating myself because I'm gonna do it anyways. A final girl is essentially that one girl. She's not necessarily the smartest, the fastest, or the strongest, but she somehow manages to be the sole survivor of any massacre that has taken place around her. So this is really common in horror slasher films. Freddy Krueger's always the one that comes to mind because it's one of my favorite films, but you see it in Scream and Jason. There's always that one person that somehow makes it out at the end. No one has any idea why. I'm actually pretty convinced that the term was coined by the film industry, and I personally learned it from a horror film class that I took last semester. So now all you guys are probably wondering, what exactly is Final Girls about? Well, Final Girls is about a girl named Quincy Carpenter who 10 years prior to the start of the book has survived the massacre of all her college friends. And it's also left her with amnesia, which you would think is a great thing, but is actually a really big source of frustration for Quincy because she knows this happened to her, but she has no recollection. And on top of that, a lot of people kind of doubt that she doesn't actually remember, and this sort of casts a shadow of suspicion on Quincy herself. Now, Quincy is not interested in having anything to do with Final Girl's stigma, but it's sort of imposed on her. Now, we see through her point of view, and we also learn of two other Final Girls that inhabit this universe, and it's Lisa and Sam. Lisa survived the massacre of sorority sisters, and Sam survived being murdered by a guy named the Sack Man. And yes, I know that that name sounds both dirty and creepy, but it was just a guy with like a sack over his head. The media is obsessed with these girls. It's a morbid type of obsession, and they try to bring them together, but Quincy she's just not having it. She's not interested. The thing about Quincy, though, is that she strives to give off this impression of perfection in her life. So she has a really successful baking blog, she has a really loving fiance, she has a great apartment. But under all of that perfection actually is a person with a lot of emotional damage. She's just an emotional wreck, and it causes her to have some really messed up secrets that no one around her actually suspects. She wants nothing more than to separate herself from the life of a final girl. She just wants to be normal, and thus kind of refuses any connection with Lisa and Sam, even though you sort of get the impression that it would help the three of them kind of have the most normal life as possible if they were supporting each other. But Quincy just is not having it. The truth is that the only part of her past that she maintains any connection with is Coop, who was the officer that saved her the night of the massacre. So everything for the most part seems to be going Quincy's way in the first couple of chapters in the book. That is until a huge bomb drops, and it's that Lisa has died. No one knows how, but she's dead. Quincy is extremely shocked, and then she's even more shocked when she realizes that she has a missed phone call and a voicemail from Lisa on the night that she died. And on this message, Lisa is urging Quincy to please call her back. Quincy wants to pretend like she doesn't know anything about it because she sees herself being dragged back into the Final Girl world, and so she ignores it. That is until Sam randomly shows up at her front door, sort of expecting to have some sort of friendship or camaraderie or something with Quincy because they're both Final Girls. So I'm not going to go past that because I think at that point I will start spoiling too much of the story, and I really want people to read this book because it's great. So Final Girls is a thriller, it's a mystery, and in my opinion it's also a horror because horrible things happen in it. All around, it's just a really great book. It fulfills each one of the genres I just mentioned perfectly. So what I loved about Final Girls is just how well it's written. It starts off slow and builds up throughout the book, but that slow buildup is just filled with tension basically from the first chapter on. And throughout the story, you start getting little bits and pieces of what happened on the night of the massacre that Quincy survived. So it's almost like watching a movie, and with each page you just do not want to put it down. As I said, the writing is superb. I don't think I've read such a well-written book in a really long time. You can definitely tell that the author has plenty of experience writing novels. Please tell us who you are. So they just build this world so perfectly. Everything that is nitty gritty and dirty and scary and great, you just feel all of it. And there's a little bit of everything in this book. There's even quirky moments to kind of alleviate a little bit of the tension. But at the end, at its core, it is a thriller mystery, and you get that throughout. There's good character development. There is a change from Quincy from the beginning of the book all the way towards the end, and that's pretty much with all the characters that you encounter on a consistent basis. There are other characters that kind of flutter in and out, and you might not see much change with them, but it's of no importance really. The main characters that need to change. The buildup leads up to a catharsis where, you know, there's this grand conclusion. And what I especially loved about the writing was that you can never guess what's going to happen. You think you have things figured out, and you're wrong. You're going to be wrong at least 99% of the time. I only really started to figure things out towards the end. And in all honesty, it was because the author wanted me to figure it out when they wanted me to figure it out. I would keep making like educated guesses and just throwing out like theories out there, and a couple pages later it would be destroyed. And I love that because I typically have this issue where, not to toot my own horn, but it's the truth, I tend to figure out books and movies way before they're over, just because people tend to recycle the same kind of plot lines and tend to lead in the same way. Not with Final Girls. Like I said, you're gonna think you're on the right path with figuring things out, and you won't. You will be thrown off every single time all the way up until the ending, and you're gonna love the ending because you're not gonna see it coming. So I absolutely love this book. I recommend it to anyone and everyone that loves this genre. Even if you don't love this genre, you should still pick it up. There is a reason why Stephen King said that it was the best of its genre for the year, and it's true. It really is. You guys know that typically I give a lot of the books that I read pretty good ratings, usually somewhere in the 4.5. It's really rare for me to give a book a really bad rating, because I think at the end of the day, as long as the story captivates you enough and takes you along, it's good. It's maybe not a great read, but it's good. But in this case, I have to give Final Girls a 5 out of 5. It's an amazing book. I absolutely love it. I cannot say that enough. I'm extremely excited by the fact that in less than a month, Final Girls will be out in print. I can pick up a hardcover copy and see it with my own two eyes, and oh, it's gonna be a great day to have it part of my collection. So I have included some pre-order links for you guys in the description box below. I've included all the stores that I love. I want to just give a disclaimer that yes, one of them has an affiliated link. It's the Book Depository one. But I really don't care if you guys buy from the Book Depository or not. I just thought it was the right thing to do to let you know that it is an affiliate link. And if you buy, I get a very tiny commission. But again, buy it from wherever you want, wherever you get the best deal. Just buy it. You're going to love it. You're not going to regret it. You're going to see that it is one of the best books for 2017. Alright, you guys, that is my review. I think I got really carried away because of how much I like the book, but I'm just so happy that it's coming out. Please don't miss out. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Leave me comments below. If you've already had a chance to read an advanced reader copy, what did you think? I want to know. Please consider subscribing to my channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!